Hello and good Wednesday night to you. I'm Hugh Keeton here in the WLOX Digital Desk. And you saw on the graphic there, we are talking about coast life, everything good in South Mississippi and what makes this place such a great place to live. If you followed us over the last several months, you know I've been basically taking a tour across the area, highlighting the culture and different activities and the people behind the culture and activities that really stand out. And over the next few minutes, we're going to be going through the Coast Life stories where I've featured over the last month in March. And our first stop is going to be in Stone County. We're going to check out Coy's Honey Farm. They have thousands of bees there, not just at the farm in Stone County, but also bees spread out all across South Mississippi. And they essentially try and collect those bees and then use the honey, and then they will take the honey that to be sold across the country and even the world. So right now, let's take a trip to Coy's Honey Farm in Stone County.
I'm a third-generation beekeeper. I was basically born into the bees.
Richard Coy is in the bee business.
These hives are small hives.
His work keeps him busy as a bee.
A lot of people think you just put the bugs in the box and walk away, but we have to manage them like any other animal. We just work all the time.
Richard's now 84-year-old father first started his hives in 1969 and turned it into a full-time job in 1981. Now Richard, his father, brother, and son all manage the bees of Coy's Honey Farm in Stone County.
Not all family businesses are able to maintain for as many years as we have, and it's nothing that I take for granted.
The Coy's family business was born in Arkansas. 30 years ago, they discovered the potential of South Mississippi for bees. In 2019, the Coys moved their full operation here.
The vegetation is essential to bees. The nutritional value of the wild vegetation is what bees need so they can populate and propagate. And so we saw that that was very good.
The late winter and spring months are the prime season for blooms the bees need. The hives the Coys work with are spread out on properties all over Mississippi's 6 lower counties.
For us to maintain our operations, we have to have 10,000 hives. And for us to have 10,000 hives, we have to have areas to place those bees. And so without the people allowing us to place the bees on those locations, we could not maintain the numbers that we have.
The sweetest part of beekeeping is the honey.
We harvest the honey and it goes through this system.
The honey is extracted from the hives at the Coy's Stone County facility, then shipped to a packaging and distribution center to be sent around the world. Like the honey, the bees also don't stay in South Mississippi. After finishing their work in the spring, the bees are loaded onto trucks and moved across the country to places including North Dakota and Montana, where conditions are more favorable during the summer.
During the summertime, the bees really have nothing to do, and so we need to get them out of here so they can continue growing in other parts of the United States.
Then, when summer is over, the bees are brought back to South Mississippi to start the essential process all over again.
1 out of every 3 bites that we consume is attributed to honeybees pollinating. They're just out doing their job, and it's our job to take care of them.
That is Coy's Honey Farm in Stone County. And if you want to learn more about what happens there with caring for bees and the process of using the bees for honey, you can check out this story on WLOX.com. You can just search, that's the wrong story actually, but if you search for Coast Life Coy's Honey Farm on WLOX.com, you can find this story and you can learn more about their operation. And we have a direct link in this story at the bottom of the page where you can click on Coy's Honey Farm and you can find out more about what they do. Right here is the link, and let's go to their website. You can find out contact information. They also, as I mentioned in the story there, they are looking for people to house the hives on their property. So if you're interested in doing that, you can search Coy's Honey Farm and find out more information about doing that. And great people to work with also there in Stone County. Okay, now our next stop is going to be in Biloxi on our Coast Life tour, where it is baseball season, as I guess you know, and that's a busy time for a pair of coaches there at Biloxi High School. They are actually married to each other. One is the junior high girls soccer coach. The other is the head baseball coach, and they have great support for each other, and I caught up with them, and here is the story. This is the Coast Life from Biloxi High School.
Gosh, what a pretty day.
It was a nice day.
I can't get over it.
The nicest days for Sarah Beth and Houghton Buchanan are spent at the ball game.
We almost wouldn't know what life was like without being around sports.
Houghton is the head coach of Biloxi High School baseball. His wife Sarah Beth is the junior high girls soccer coach.
We can kind of come home every day with whether it's stuff we're venting about or stuff that's going on, and it's not, the stuff we're talking about are not just foreign concepts to each other. It's pretty relatable.
One of the few days the Buchanans didn't spend around sports, their wedding day in January.
Whenever we got engaged, I said we have a very finite amount of time that we can get married. So I picked 2 dates and it's like, this is gonna have to work. So we took that Monday off after we got married, and then we were back here Tuesday because I had practice and then he was starting too.
The coaching couple first met on the job in Biloxi, but Houghton first crossed paths with Sarah Beth's twin brother years earlier.
When I first called him, I said, hey, do you happen to know this guy, Houghton Buchanan? He was like, oh, I do.
As a senior pitcher for Biloxi, Houghton left quite an impression in a high school all-star game.
My brother was the first batter for the North and Houghton was the starting pitcher for the South. And very first pitch nailed my brother in the back, so that's been a fun story.
It gets brought up pretty much every holiday.
Rehearsal dinner.
If there were any hard feelings, they've long been forgotten. Now, while they can agree on wearing the Biloxi red, who they cheer for other times is a little more complicated. Houghton played baseball for Ole Miss.
I don't know if you ever noticed. I was like, but you saw me on the field. Like I was running to pick up the bats and stuff. And
Sarah Beth was a Diamond girl from Mississippi State. Also, her older brother played for the Diamond Dogs.
Mississippi State's been winning baseball games more so against Ole Miss.
Yeah, football season lately it's been a different story.
Yeah.
Ole Miss winning, so football season lately has been my time to brag, and baseball season's kind of been hers.
They've both had their chances to brag, with Ole Miss winning the national championship in 2022 and Mississippi State doing the same the year before.
I have the memory of a cowbell ringing in my ear it was at least the next week and a half, because I don't know how many times she put it down.
When it comes to games the Buchanans are coaching in, the support for each other is unwavering. Houghton always knows where to find Sarah Beth when he's in the dugout.
No matter what's going on in game or whatever's happening, I can kind of look down the third baseline and know she's there and realize, like, okay, it's a game.
And Houghton never misses one of his wife's soccer games.
And there's been times where I look up in the stands and I just kind of I see his face and I'm like, okay. I was like, we got this.
Sarah Beth and Houghton lean on each other, not just in wins and losses, but also to lift up and make a positive impact on the students they coach and teach.
That's one thing I want to make sure that my girls especially, and I think he's the same way, they never fall out of love with the sport that they're playing. And that's what I hope we can continue to do, is them love it and grow.
I think I speak for both of us when I say we couldn't ask for a better situation.
That looks good.
And we call that one Love at First Strike in Biloxi. That is the Coast Life with coaches there who work together, and they also got recently married, and they certainly show their support there, came across in the story. Okay, our next stop on our Coast Life tour across South Mississippi is going to take us to Bay St. Louis, and I catch up with the Bay Rats. What are the Bay Rats? Well, you're about to find out with this story. Take a look.
From the Bay, you're a rat, and you run these streets, and we make a lot of noise playing drums.
Brian Weilman leads the Bay Rats marching battery.
It's not easy. Don't make any mistake. The drums are incredibly heavy. The work we do is incredibly hard. It takes a lot of time on your own as well as with the group.
Rest.
When he's not teaching kids to play drums, Weilman paints houses for a living.
1 and 2.
Organizing a drum line gives him a chance to live out a passion he first discovered in school.
The clicks, yeah? Here we go, one more time.
Weilman welcomes children of any age
Pac-Man is?
Yeah.
All right.
to get with the beat.
Like this, right?
The younger the better. They're like sponges. They soak this up, and it's so easy to teach them. I'm not qualified to be doing this. They're qualified to learn it though, so it works.
Taking beginners, Wildman turns them into seasoned drummers and helps them on a path of success.
Over the past, we've graduated 4 valedictorians, multiple salutatorians, all kinds of honored kids. One of my first drum captain is currently at Yale. My own son is on his 4th year on the drum line in Ole Miss. And I'm not saying we were the cause of all that. I'm saying that's the kind of kids that come to this program and I get to work with.
COVID put a stop to the percussion gathering. After several years of silence, the Bay Rats are making a comeback, and Long Beach 8th grader Addison Forcier is glad she's part of it.
It's a way to express emotion through music, and it's just so much. I come over here because I love the people, I love the music, I love the conductors. Everything here is so positive and so well put together.
It's a self-feeding program. The younger kids stay with it, the older kids stay with it. They teach the younger kids, and the cycle continues.
Donations and nonprofit funding make the participation and equipment free for the drummers.
Yeah, I've really stuck to my guns on this. I want this to be an all-inclusive program for anybody who's willing to do the hard work. I don't get paid and they don't get graded. So the reward is just the hard work. The result of the hard work is the reward itself.
Wildman's reward is seeing his love of drumming spread to a new generation.
And to know they're at home, tap, 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 driving their parents crazy like I did mine, that's another bonus. I think they'll tell you and look back and say, man, that was one of the best experiences. Because they tell me all the time, this is a lot of fun. Besides a lot of work, it is a ton of fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the Bay Rats in Bay St. Louis. If you have an interest in drumming or your child has an interest in drumming and you want to check out the program, you can go to WLOX.com and search for, we called it Marching to the Beat of Your Own Drum, or you search WLOX Bay Rats and you'll be able to find the story, and there's more information about what goes into the program. And also at the bottom of the page we have a link to the Bay Rats Facebook page that you can click on there, and they have contact information, and they even linked our story there on their Facebook page, so you can check out more information if you have an interest in drumming, as I said, or your child wants to learn how to be a drummer themselves. It's a great activity and you can learn how to do that as well. So feel free to check it out at any time, and you will have a good time doing that as well. And it's a little loud though with the Bay Rats. And so now we're going to move to Long Beach on our Coast Life tour this week. And this is a story that ran earlier this week on Monday night here on WLOX. And the Vietnam War, the end of the war anniversary is coming up next month. It was in 1975 when the Vietnam War came to an end, so that was 49 years ago. And at the end of the war, thousands of refugees left the country, and they were helped out by the American military that were leaving the country. One of those refugees that was helped out right now is the owner and operator of a Long Beach restaurant called the Rusty Pelican, and now we're going to catch up with the Rusty Pelican. Yeah, hang on. Let me restart that. Okay. Hold on. We've got a lot of buttons that we have to punch here to get the WLOX Digital Desk going. All right, so now we're going to the Rusty Pelican in Long Beach on the next stop on our Coast Life tour.
Working and survive. That's all I know.
Way Rotelli's been feeding hungry customers of the Rusty Pelican for almost 4 decades.
Rich toast with the strawberries on top.
No butter, right?
And we come here about 6 mornings a week for breakfast. Oh boy, yay, thank you.
But the biscuits and eggs have never come easy for Way.
If you can talk to anybody who know me from the beginning, they know how hard I work to get to the day.
Way is from Vietnam. During the war, she worked for an American company in Saigon. In April 1975, the U.S. was pulling out, putting her and her family in danger.
I am Vietnamese refugee.
The images are familiar from history, but for Way, she lived it.
We took my family and me to the airport.
She got a warning from her boss at the time, and Wei, with her small children, acted fast.
We have in the base about 20,000 people ready to left the country.
After about a full day at the base, it was time to leave with the Americans.
There's a bunch of big helicopters come over, land on the base, and they tell us 60 people get to the plane, 60 people get to the plane. They pick the people up from the base.
Wei and thousands of other Vietnamese refugees were taken to aircraft carriers and large vessels in the Pacific.
Look at how many people in there.
From there, the journey continued to America. At the time, she didn't even understand why she had to leave her home behind, but today she believes the journey saved her life.
I don't even know why I'm here, but later on I realized I'm here, why I'm here, and how lucky I am why I'm here.
After moving around the country and living in Cincinnati for several years, Wei and her husband discovered South Mississippi, moved here for the view, bought a restaurant in Pass Christian, and kept the name Rusty Pelican from the previous owner.
In the first 5 years, I have no day off.
Wei persevered, and 20 years after first opening, she had built a successful and popular business.
We're doing fine until Katrina.
Again, 30 years since she fled Vietnam, Wei was starting over.
I lost everything. I mean, absolutely nothing left.
In the time of need and great loss from the hurricane, Wei served others by preparing meals for victims and volunteers. The favor of generosity was returned.
They say, well, you help them, why don't we just help you to build your house back or build your restaurant?
Starting from scratch, Wei was on the comeback. She found a vacant property on Beatline Road in Long Beach and for the second time opened the Rusty Pelican in 2008. Her old customers followed and she found plenty of new ones as well.
How long you gonna stay here? They're not just my customer, they're my friend. They are very, very good to me. Without the people who I know for 39 years, I couldn't make it today. Did you order banh mi?
We really like being friends with Wei. You know, you've got to respect her, and I feel really honored to be one of her friends.
Wei's story is one of perseverance, survival, and hard work. For her, it's all been worth it.
At this point, I'm happy. Thank you. Appreciate it. I would like to say, in the bottom of my heart, I really, really thank you, the U.S. military the most, who brought us here. That's how I become the way I am today.
That is the Coast Life at the Rusty Pelican restaurant in Long Beach. It really is a good restaurant, a lot of food variety, and they have a big crowd in there most days for breakfast and lunch. I talked specifically about the breakfast there, but she also offers a wide menu of food items. They have a full lunch menu as well, all for breakfast for the whole day. So Rusty Pelican is worth checking out there, and say hello to Wei while you're there. It's on Beatline Road in Long Beach. She's been serving food at the Rusty Pelican since 1985, so almost 4 decades, first in Pass Christian and now in Long Beach, and she is certainly persevering. Also, I mentioned she evacuated Vietnam with her small children. Well, she ended up raising 3 children in America. They're all grown today and have careers of their own, and she was proud of them, and certainly seems to be doing well today. And that is a look at the Coast Life here in South Mississippi. That's our tour for March. The stories that air every Monday night, and you can always watch the new Coast Life story on Monday night during the 10 o'clock news, and then we'll wrap up those stories and take a closer look at the stories here at the WLOX Digital Desk. And it looks like the weekend ahead is going to be nice, a lot of sunshine for Easter, so if you have plans, it's going to be a good weekend to get outside. Well, that's what I have for you here tonight on the WLOX Digital Desk. I hope you have a good Wednesday night, and we're halfway to the weekend, so that's certainly good news. And whatever you do, we hope you enjoy the Coast Life.